Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatono Jagatraya Guruhu Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishnena Marasitravo Vinihataha Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishnadeva Samuthitam Jagadidam Krishnasya Dasosmiham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvametadakhilam He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. Jai Srimanarayana. Today, December 19th, 2022, we'll start with Sloka 54 in chapter 2. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Please send. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna
Uvacha
Tita Pragnasya Ka Bhasha.
Stita
Pragnasya Ka Bhasha
Samadhistasya Kesava.
Samadhistasya Keshava
Titadhih Kim Prabhasheta.
Titadhih Kim Prabhasheta
Himasita Vrajeta Kim.
Kimasita Vrajeta Kim.
Let's chant together. Stita
Pragnasya Ka Bhasha Samadhistasya Keshava Titadhih Bhasheta Himasita Vrajeta Kim.
So Lord Krishna told about Sthita Prajna, right? In the previous slokas, he mentioned the word Sthita Prajna. So Arjuna wants to know more information about Sthita Prajna. Now he's asking a question. So this is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, right? So Arjuna is asking a question and Lord Krishna is responding or answering to his questions. So Arjuna is asking, Hey Kesava, Lord Krishna, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. Ka bhasha. Bhasha is, it's we translate it as language, right? But basically it is words. So Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha is what is that describes Sthita Prajna? What is that identifies? What are the identifying words, or what are the words that describe Sthita Prajnasya? So of the one who is having the Sthita Prajna, right? One who is Sthita Prajna, what identifies him? What are the words that will describe him, right? So basically he wants to know more about Sthita Prajna. Like, you're saying Sthita Prajna, right? I want to understand more about him. What identifies him? Then he used, samadhistasya, of the one whose mind is situated in samadhi, right? Samadhi is described, the mind that is situated in achala buddhi, right? So that is what we are calling it as samadhi, samadhistasya. So it's another word for sthita prajna. We can take it that way. So what identifies him? How do I recognize him? Or if I want to be a sthita prajna, what should be my characteristics? Right? That is how we need to understand. And this is a great question from Arjuna, because just saying that, okay, buddhi is situated, buddhi is firm, fixed, unmoving in the mind, doesn't really explain to us what should be our characteristics, right? Or in other words, if the buddhi is firm, if we are Sthita Prajna, how we will behave, we need to understand. So our behavior will tell whether we are Sthita Prajna. Like if you see somebody, with a certain type of behavior, you will be able to identify is he Sthita Prajna or not. Okay, so here that's the question that Arjuna is asking. Arjuna is asking, Kim stitadhihi prabhasheta. Stitadhihi kim prabhasheta. What will such sthita prajna speak? Okay. And kimasita, what does he sit on? So asita is sit, right? So what does he meditate on? What does he think about? What goes on in his mind, right? That is how we need to understand. It's not like does he sit on a chair or on the floor? It's not like that. So what does he place his mind on? What does he meditate on? Kim vrajeta. So what does he do? So what does he think about, and what does he do, and what does he speak? What does he say? And what are his characteristics? How does he do the things? That is what Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna about Sthita Prajna. How do we identify him? I think this is, it is a simple question, but it is very practical, very useful for us. And Lord Krishna answered those questions in the later slokas.
Lord Krishna did not use the word Sthita Prajna. I'm just checking actually, right? Maybe I'm wrong. He didn't use that word, right? Sthita Prajna kind of a thing? Or did he use it somewhere?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we used it. Missed it. Because he said all this quality.
In many places he says, right? Sthita prajnas tadochyate. It comes in many places.
Okay. So,
Yeah. Not multiple slokas.
yes, okay.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Thank
you, sir. Okay, so let us understand those slokas.
Prasad garu?
Right. Yes.
Ante, see, now Bhagavan is explaining about, I don't see why, why Arjuna is, suddenly he wanted to ask about the physical, Sthita Prajnasa, immediately it'll, when somebody says, first think of only mental status, right? Not like a physical. I'm just wondering why Arjuna is asking, like, I know that it has a very inner meaning, but if you just need to take.
If I want to be Sthita Prajna, and that is what Lord Krishna said, right? We need to be Sthita Prajna in order to do the Karma Yoga, right? So, and in order to achieve our goal, the higher goal. So, what should be our characteristics? He's asking another way, if someone is a Sthita Prajna, what identifies that person? How do you describe that person?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and what does he do? What does he say? What does he think on? Like, basically, if we want to be a Sthita Prajna, this is what we need to. And that's what Lord Krishna is going to explain. Right? I mean, having the Atma Jnanam fixed in the mind, Achala Buddhi, Achala Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, that person is Sthita Prajna. That is like a theory, right? I mean, how is that person going to behave? How do you describe such a person? If let us say someone is having the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi fixed in his mind, the Buddhi of Atma Jnanam is fixed, how do we identify? Right? In other words, if I show this kind of a behavior, then I can say that my buddhi is Achala Buddhi, or I have Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Right? So, I mean, if someone is spending, lot of money, like in the market, let us say they're buying a lot of things in the market, then you can say that, okay, this person is rich, right? How do you identify whether a person is rich?
Yeah.
If the person has $1 million in the bank and sitting
Quality,
quiet,
right? Quality.
you don't know whether that person is rich or not. But how he behaves in outside, like how he spends money, that is one. I mean, just giving an example, materialistic example. Based on how one behaves outside, you will be able to know this person is rich. So, if I want to know this person is Sthita Prajna, having the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, then what would be the characteristics of that person? What does he do? How does he do those things? And what does he think on or meditate on? Right?
Okay.
Okay. So I'll move on to Sloka 55. Sri Bhagavanuvacha
Sri Bhagavanuvacha
Prajahati yada kaman
Prajahati yada kaman
Sarvan Partha Manogatan
Sarvan
Sarvan
Partha Manogatam
Atmanyevatmana Tushtaha
Atmanyevatmana
Atmanatushtaha
Tita Prajnastadocyate.
Sthita
Prajastochyate
Let's chant together.
Jahati yada kaman
Sarvan
Parthamanogatam
Atmani
Eva
Atmana
Atmanatushtaha
Sthita
Praja
Prajnastadocyate.
Udyate.
So Lord Krishna started answering the question that Arjuna asked to describe about Sthita Prajna, one who is Sthita Prajna. So, who is called Sthita Prajna? Is Prajahati Yada Kaman. Sarvan Manogatam. So he is saying, He Partha, O Arjuna, Yada Manogatan Sarvan Kaman Prajahati. One who completely gives up all desires that are present in manas. Yada, when manogatan sarvan kaman prajahati. One who completely, when one completely gives up all the desires, kaman is desires, manogatan that are generated or present in the manas, right? So when that happens, right, when they give up, atmani eva atmana tushtaha. This is very, 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 very important in the entire Bhagavad Gita. One of the things that are very important. So, atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Be pleased. Tushtaha means be pleased or satisfied with. Okay. Be pleased. Atmani, in Atma, in himself. Okay. Here now Atma refers to the meaning of self. Atmani, in Atma, in self. Atmana. Atmana is the third vibhakti, with Atma. So here Atma meaning is manas. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. One who is satisfied in himself or herself. I mean, we use, for Atma we use masculine gender. It doesn't mean that Atma is masculine. Atma doesn't have any gender. So be pleased in oneself with manas, tada, then sthita prajnaha uchyate. Then that one is called sthita prajna. Okay. I mean, prajna is the knowledge, right? The great knowledge. Sthita is situated, is firmly situated. Okay. So sthita prajna, when do we call a person one is as sthita prajna? Is when one completely gives up all desires that are arising in the manas. I mean, typically the desires are associated with manas, right? So all the worldly desires that that we can think of, completely give up, and then be satisfied with oneself. That person is sthita prajna. This is a definition. So this is basically the final stage, what we call as final stage of sthita prajna. There are 4 slokas that Lord Krishna is going to explain about sthita prajna. This is the first sloka where he is defining sthita prajna, identifying sthita prajna, or describing sthita prajna is the final stage of sthita prajna. When one reaches this stage, he is in the final stage of sthita prajna. And this is the 4th stage, or final stage of sthita prajna is, in our acharyas have called it as Vasikara Avastha. Vasikara Avastha. So they gave a name for this state or stage of sthita prajna. So one who achieves this state is, we can call that person as sthita prajna.
Can we say a person who is mentally challenged as a sthita prajna?
Mentally challenged.
I mean, we see some people like, they,
No. Not
I
mentally.
don't think so. It might mean the reverse.
So this is a very we'll go through. I mean, what is the what does one mean by being satisfied with oneself?
Yeah, I know there are so many qualities that require for the prajna. The main thing, we don't even know whether the humans who are mentally challenged, they even believe, they know any God concept. I'm just wondering, but they're I always see they're very happy. I know physically. I mean, we don't know what is going on in their mind though, but just right, thank you.
So, it's a good question, good observation. You take a sloth, just taking example of an animal. Do you call that sthita prajna? It is happy by itself, and it's like that. It's not sthita prajna. So it's its nature, right? It is the mind is in such a state where it is totally like just I don't have to describe a sloth, right? So by looking at a sloth, we can't say that sloth is a sthita prajna, right? So if you see a person like that, just by seeing that person like that, then you can't call that person a sthita prajna. Now, this is a very good question. So just this sloka does not describe the sthita prajna completely. There are 4 slokas, right? Lord Krishna explains sthita prajna in 4 stages. Okay. They should have crossed the other 3 stages to reach this stage. So we need to see the other 3 stages also. Then you will understand this stage even better. One thing is, this particular, it is very clear, they have no desires. The desires don't even come up. It's not like they have to suppress their desires. They don't come up at all. Naturally, they don't have desires, right? The worldly desires. So, I want to buy a car or a house. That comes up, and then I say, no, I shouldn't buy. Then it is not, we are not really in sthita prajna stage, the final stage of sthita prajna. That desire itself should not come. Naturally, it's not like suppression, right? So so any materialistic desire that we have should not even come up. Okay, and then are they not satisfied in their life? No, they're completely pleased, happy with their self itself, right? So nothing outside is going to give them pleasure or happiness. Their pleasure or happiness is derived from within. And because nothing can destroy that self, we learned about self, right? Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam cannot, Atma cannot die. It cannot diminish. It's always eternal, fresh, all those things we have gone through. So when they are totally engrossed in that Atma, right? They derive the pleasure from that itself, from their self itself. And that pleasure is eternal. So nothing that happens outside will spoil their like they won't look for something outside to make them happy or pleased or satisfied. It is always, they will have duties outside, they will do some things, right? They may have a duty, but that is not the one that is giving them satisfaction or pleasure, or they're not deriving their pleasure or satisfaction or happiness from external things, the duties and the results, right? Doesn't mean that they don't perform. They'll still perform, but not to, I mean, typically, why do we do any, we go to a job. Why do we go to a job? To get money, right? If someone says that you are not going to get the money, will we go to the job? No, right? No. So the purpose of doing the job is to derive something from it for us, right? And that money is going to give us pleasure. We're going to buy things and other things. So we are dependent on that money for our satisfaction, pleasures, and things like that. For these people, the Sthita Prajna in final stage, they perform their duties, but they're not to become happy, not to become satisfied with themselves, satisfied in their life, right? So they derive happiness from within. Nobody can destroy that happiness. So, for example, if someone criticizes them, someone takes the money away from them, they lose money or gain money, or they praise or criticize, they win or lose. These things don't bother them at all. They're always in a state of, the happiness itself, because they are totally engrossed in their Atma. Because you're asking question.
Having the duties, as long as we have in Grihasthashram, we have duties towards others more than just you. So I don't know, like, where is the, when you say like we do jobs to maybe not get pleasures, but there is duty. Yes, the pleasure comes because we probably are doing, we are getting more than, what is just needed for duties. But it's very difficult to say, okay, this is exactly how much I need for the duty, right? And then I'm going for the job for, we need security, right? So it's like all the other things which come with it. So I'm just thinking, right, is it even possible, right? If people who, like, are there, I'm sure there are examples, right? But like when we say, what is exactly Sthita Prajna, right? Is it completely not at all wanting or doing anything more than, looks very tough definition.
So basically, whatever is our duty, we do it, right? And the result will not give us either happiness or unhappiness. Okay. That is a very simple. Typically, result is the one that is making us happy or unhappy. The result is good, making happy. Result is not good, making us unhappy. We change our duties to increase our happiness, to maximize our happiness. That is what we do. So I know we change. Let us say somebody criticizes, then we don't want to do that anymore, right? Or someone praises, we want to do more. Or someone gives more money, we'll do it. Someone gives less money, we'll be unhappy. Two people do the same job. Like, let us say I and somebody else do the same job, and that person gets a promotion. What happens? Typical, how do you feel? Like, you have 5 people in your team, and only one person gets a raise or a promotion, even though all 5 have done an excellent job. Or one person gets a praise, mentioned, they're given an award, right? So then how do you feel? Does it pinch you? If it pinches us, then we are not Sthita Prajna. If it doesn't pinch us at all, not even like, I get the feeling, but I suppress it immediately. Not even that. It have to be like at a stage where it doesn't bother us at all.
And lot of people give Gandhiji as an example for Sthita Prajna.
I think it's
So Gandhi.
sorry, Balaji, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I just said, Gandhiji is a great example of Sthita Prajna. I mean, he really did a magnanimous thing, but he proved to the world that freedom can be achieved without shedding a drop of blood. I mean, we never went and killed anyone for freedom, right? So, and also I read somewhere that apparently Gandhiji used to make everybody chant these 18 shlokas in his ashram almost daily.
Yeah, he was following Bhagavad Gita very closely. One of the practitioners of Bhagavad Gita, definitely. It was driving. He mentioned many times that Bhagavad Gita drives me a lot. But if you want to get a perfect example of a Sthita Prajna in this state, is Shuka Maharshi. So who gave the Bhagavatam, is the son of Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa. So son of Vedavyasa. He is the perfect example. Of course, we will not go into the details about Shuka Maharshi, but at this stage, we don't even we don't have any desires. I need to wear a coat, right? I like wearing a coat and nice clothes. Even that also won't happen. If I have the coat, I'll wear it. If I don't have it, nothing bothers me like that. So if I don't have any clothes, also it's fine at that stage. So Shuka Maharshi, was going without clothes on the road, and he would not feel a thing. But of course, as I said, right, some mad people, they don't, they're in a state where they don't even understand. They just walk around without clothes on the road. We should not compare that with the Sthita Prajna stage 4. But one who is fully satisfied with themselves, with Atma Jnana, not because they're out of their mind, they lost their mind. They have their fully functional mind, but they're fully satisfied with themselves. They don't crave for anything. They have no desires. They get happiness from within, not from outside. So there was a question about if, let us say, this person is always they're not disturbed by anything, right? Very, equanimous, equanimity state, right? Equanimous state appears to be mentally balanced always. Then should we call that person as Sthita Prajna? The question is, what happened? Let us say they have $1 million. What happens suddenly the $1 million is lost? If that $1 million is lost and it bothers them, then they're not in the Prajna state. Okay. If it doesn't bother them at all, their happiness is not disturbed by the money that they lost. That's Sthita Prajna. Right. So this some of the tests that we can do to check ourselves whether whether we are Sthita Prajna or not. Nothing outside will bother us.
I think this question was asked before. I'm not sure who has asked it. I'm sorry, I think I'm breaking. So I think Vikas's question is
Ushaji asked this one.
Yeah. I think Ushaji was referring to Avadhota, if I understand it correct. She meant to say like Avadhuta when she said, but anyway, I think this question, because I think you asked or somebody asked Varaprasad there. So the question is, if everybody becomes like a Sthita Prajna, how will
Yeah.
this world run? And that is really what he is thinking. And if we become Sthita Prajna, will we have any interest in even doing the job, or will always be like, like a rock sitting and, nothing is bothered? That is, I think, what he means to ask.
Yeah. So I will just
So
add,
here,
if I may add, right, it's very scary. That was the reason why I was trying to always stay away from meditation, because it pulls you to that extreme. Balaji, you're laughing, but I'm telling you honestly. I think I
so
mentioned to you a long time ago, Balaji, right? So, because for me, as you're saying, Varaprasadji, right? Is it okay to have partial Sthita Prajna, right? Not to have the full one, because the full one is, there is like, it cannot be 0 or 1, right?
You cannot.
No, because
I mean,
that is
it is.
dangerous, right, Balaji? Exactly. So it's like,
Mhm.
what about this family sitting next to it, right? So I want to go to, and actually, okay, and
Dharma we have to
not a
do,
joke.
right?
I have seen some of my friends in the
Here's the
past
thing.
go to Varanasi,
Yeah.
right? Somebody left from Virginia, he went to India. Like this is, I'm talking about 10 years ago, my age guy, he left everything. His wife, nobody knows where he is. He was gone for months. Then he writes a long email from, I don't know, Banaras or Varanasi or from where, and he's giving good knowledge to people. And then he also came back. Something like, I think, then somebody probably told him, you don't have to do. So it is scary stuff. I
So,
mean,
so there are a couple of things here. Very good point. So one is the concern that if I am Sthita Prajna, or if the entire world is full of Sthita Prajna people, then how will the world run, right? So the basic understanding there is that one who is Sthita Prajna does not do anything. That is incorrect. So that is first thing. One who has Atma Jnanam doesn't mean that they are sitting quiet in a corner. They are doing their duties with Atma Jnana. Okay. So here that Atma Jnanam is firmly fixed in their mind, manas. So with that, they do their duties. Okay. So that is the first misconception, that one who is Sthita Prajna is just like a sloth, doesn't do anything, sitting on the tree, and everybody is just sleeping or meditating. It is absolutely not the case. They are fully functional, but they're not driven by desires, hatred, all these things, right? The problem today is that we are driven by the desire. Everyone is driven by their desires. So with that, there is a lot of unrest in the society because of that. If people work without any desires, they are more happy, right? The entire society is happy. Everyone works without any desires for acquiring for themselves, right? This desire is what I mean. I want to acquire more and more materialistic things for myself, right? If everybody is doing that, then they are grabbing from somebody or the nature, right? More than what they're, either they're taking it by force, or they're not getting what they want. If they're taking it by force, then they're hurting either someone else or the nature. If they want to take by force, they want to get something out of their desire, and they don't get it, they're unhappy. So when one is becoming happy, it is making other people unhappy. Like, for example, simple cases like one wants to, expand their, the borders of their country. They invade other country. Now, one who wins, they're happy because they grabbed the land. One who loses is unhappy. So it's a basically, the world is becoming more and more like one person. If one person has to become happy, another person has to become unhappy. Now there are other things like we are extracting from nature more than what we are supposed to, right? There you don't see some people being unhappy, but the nature is becoming indirectly unhappy, and that causes natural calamities, right? I mean, if we extract more from the nature when we are not supposed to, then in order for our happiness, for our desires to be fulfilled, then after some time, we have all these natural calamities, problems that we face, cyclones or floods, or earthquakes causing problems, or all these kinds of or global warming, right? So it's out of our desires that we want to become more and more rich. Either companies decided to become more and more rich, or the individuals they want to become more and more rich, so they start extracting from the nature more than what they're supposed to. So it is out of the desire, if we act, then it makes us unhappy. The desire is the one that is driving us to do that, do whatever we need to. Now, if it is based on the duty, if I'm doing my duty, and I do not have the desire to grab more and more things, right? Then I would do whatever is appropriate, whatever is supposed to be, extracted from the nature, I'll extract. I will leave the rest to the nature. I mean, that is one as an example, right? So I'll not be greedy in grabbing things from nature or from other people. So, but duty will happen. If I don't have desires for materialistic positions, with Atma Jnanam, comes with the knowledge that I have to do my duties. So then I will be doing the duty without expecting results, right? In order to clean the karmic bondage that we have. That is what is the Atma Jnanam that gives us, right? So there, if everyone, the world is Sthita Prajna, it doesn't mean that nothing gets done. It actually means more and more things get done in harmony with everybody else, in the society and also with the nature, in the universe. There will be harmony in the entire world.
But Varaprasad Garu, this is what me and Vikas Garu asked the similar. Even I asked this similar question in Vedanta class. We did discuss, and yes, kind of we understood. But with all due respect to the scriptures, right? I'm not challenging or anything. What I was asking was, just like Satya Yugam, right? Like if everybody, say hypothetical situation, everybody has this jnana in the beginning of mankind, right? If you don't feel a need to anything. What I'm saying is,
No. I want to stop there. So you don't feel the need to do anything is incorrect completely.
No. I'm not. That is where I want to just clarify.
Yeah.
I'm not asking in the sense that it means, oh, you will sit like that, you're lazy, nothing like that. What I'm saying is, for example, invention of this computer also. I understand you invent this computer with a, Atma Jnanam, there is a difference, but if you are already in that state, right, whether man would have found like this technological change or anything. That was my question in Vedanta class also. I understand. Every time I ask, like, gurus think like, immediately your answer would be, oh, that's not it is. It doesn't mean you sit quiet or, sit lazy. I completely understand. But what if given a hypothetical situation where you are all people, like you follow this, and I know even These and all, right? They
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
So, is there any need to? I'll be the devil's advocate, right? Like you're saying that computer is a great thing, right? That unless somebody has a desire, computer wouldn't have been invented. Okay, but is it really? Is computer really the thing that we is our goal?
yes,
Or
that
is
was my
is the computer making our karmic bondage go away?
yes. That's exactly what my was it a need? What was the the human would have thought of need needing this of any tab or anything.
So here's the thing. So 18 million years ago, right? When Lord Sri Rama, Avatar was there was technology even at that time.
Right. Yes.
There was somebody was able to jump from 100 yojanas. Okay, we lost that ability completely.
Mhm.
Okay, so they were able to. I mean, not just Hanuman, but others were also capable of doing the same, or even like Lord Sri Rama, of course, was so powerful. So at that time, the technology, they explained even 5,000 years ago, the Brahmastra technology that they explained is equivalent to atomic bomb, right? So technology was always there with a greater human ability. Okay, so it doesn't mean that again, if computer and this technology, satellites and all these things, it is making us materialistic, giving us materialistic happiness, moving us towards the materialistic happiness, taking us away from what is supposed to be our actual goal. Okay, so inventing computers is, I'm not saying that it is bad. We can use computers for good purpose also,
Exactly.
right? Like how we are able to conduct the satsang session. But it is, if let us say computer is not there, we could have met, all of us could have met, or the entire society. Like, today, because of computers and because of TVs and other technologies, people are, if I want to have satsang in this society, there are 1,000 people, none of them come, right? So nobody is interested in the knowledge that we provide. No one is doing the yoga, for example, which is very essential for body health. So people, it is harming. It could have been used for a good purpose, but more and more it is used for bad purpose only. So it is taking. So it is not that, if unless we had the desires, we wouldn't have invented computers and with. If you are suggesting that Sthita Prajna, by being Sthita Prajna, probably somebody is not going to invent computer, then it's bad, right? So Sthita Prajna is bad for the society. That's absolutely not the case, because it would have been better than computer, right? We could have done even better than computer. And also, Sthita Prajna doesn't mean that you don't invent computer. You can still invent computer, right? So in those days, the kind of, just with the scriptures, the weapons that they have, they're so great that today's technology, you cannot even produce that kind of weapons. People were so powerful, so strong. Today, we don't have that. There are people who live for 1,000 years. We don't have that. There are no health problems at all for anybody, right? The kind of problem that we are having. So there were so many good things in those days, right? When these computer and things, other things are not there. So it is not that being Sthita Prajna is detrimental to the society. It is actually the opposite. We would be even better than what we have today, including the one that we have. I mean, like we would have probably invented the same things. So, for example, Sthita Prajna, let's say I'm a professor, and I need to do my job, or I'm a scientist, I need to do my job. Okay, I will do it without having any expectations, without deriving pleasure out of what I'm going to get or not going to get. So I would be actually doing even a better job than what I'm doing today, right?
Varaprasad, the way I'm trying to understand this, and I think, what it is when people are in this Sthita Prajna state, they still are driven by by their sense of trying to help out people. So that's what they did. Somebody went ahead and did the COVID vaccine, What they wanted is to help out people. Somebody said that, okay, let's make things easier. Means it's not that he was not Sthita Prajna, but it was his sort of, desire to help out maybe, and still that's how they, did all these things. So it's not necessarily that the Sthita Prajna person is not, doing anything. He's just like, so I don't know.
Yeah. So one who is Sthita Prajna will do their duty without having expectations, right? Without deriving the pleasure from the results that they're getting. So they will do their duties. So whoever was given the duty of, coming up with the COVID vaccine, they would do it without deriving the pleasure from it. They would do a proper job because let us say, there are 3 companies who are trying to get COVID vaccine. I'm just trying to give an example. What happens if we are driven by the results, right? So if 3 companies are trying to invent, all 3 of them are, let us say, they're investing money and resources, right? And then if whichever company produces the COVID vaccine first is one going to be more profitable. They are going to get money. The other 2 are going to lose, right? So there is always pressure to get at least show the result, right? So that we have seen for showing the results, what kind of things that people do, all kinds of unjust things people do. So they will be motivated by that kind of a result. Oh, I need to produce the COVID vaccine first and then put it in the market. So no matter how the efficacy and all those things are there, I need to just do it first and get it approved first. Otherwise, if I'm just 1 day late or 10 days late, I lose. So let me do whatever I can to just get over that line. Now, if it is done properly, fine. But if they are driven by the result, motivated by the desire to get the vaccine out as soon as possible so that they can be profitable, they don't lose money, then the problem is. So their duty is to work on it as as hard as possible, as smart as possible. But unfortunately, the duty takes a second priority. The result takes first priority. That is how the world is running now. So I'm not saying COVID vaccine is somehow wrong, bad or something like that. I'm just taking that as an there could be other things which could be, they will try to promote something. One great example is cigarettes, right? They promoted it as to get money. They promoted it as something that stimulates mind, and also even children can use. Yeah, children can use it and all that. For that, because of what? They just they have a desire to earn money. That's it. So that was not proper, and they knew that. The people who were producing cigarettes kind of knew very early stages that it is addictive and it gives a lot of health problems, but they didn't stop it. So one who would have, if let us say the world is full of Sthita Prajnas, that company wouldn't have produced cigarettes and made the entire generation. And even today, people are facing problems, right?
Yeah, I think Sham, basically to answer your question, right, what happens is in general in corporate world, let us say we are a Sthita Prajna, we want to start a company, we want to produce something, let's say I start a consulting company. See, the very nature of desire, what happens is it will slowly, without your knowledge, pull you into that. You know, initially, I want to be the perfect person. I want to be dharmic. I want to provide consulting at a reasonable price for a good cause, and all these are the motive, right? Then as you start, most of the situations, including non-profits, whatever may be the case, what happens, the very nature of material world is, it is slowly like a crocodile under the water, it will come and it will pull you in. At that point, you don't even know that you are actually again losing the status of Sthita Prajna. So it's extremely, extremely rare that you are a Sthita Prajna and at the same time you are a person who is operating in business world, right? That's something like, and the other thing is you can never 100% tell this guy is a Sthita Prajna because it's all mental in nature. By looking at somebody, I mean, in general, we think Swamiji for sure is Sthita Prajna. We know that because of the way. But, you know, in general, it is a mental process. We can never tell 100% who is Sthita Prajna. That is the problem with material world. It will get you.
Yeah, that's good, Balaji garu. The other three slokas will be even more clear. So we'll start going through and it will, we'll try to understand more about.
One small question, sir. I will stop.
No problem. Yeah.
Coming back to that evaluation or retrospection, like where we stand at the Sthita Prajna level, right? Sure, like if there is a person, take the corporate, I mean, office example. So manager, you do very good work, and the person who doesn't do that much, but is being recognized. I understand because of this knowledge, right? At least we understand, like, okay, don't feel bad. But getting the thought, what do you say? Like, where do we stand? Like, at least I know I won't feel bad, but at least I observe, I mean, that thinking will, the thought come, okay, hey, but again, next second I'm me, okay, but it's like I am going through, but I'm just.
You fight in a dharmic way, no? No problem.
No, I don't want to fight or anything.
No, you must.
Thinking.
One
think you are under Sthita Prajna status.
Fighting in a dharmic way will, you know, get you out of the way from there, from your job. You can't do that, right?
One fundamental thing to understand is one who is Sthita Prajna has Atma Jnana. Okay. And that Atma Jnanam is always established, situated. It is not like I have in the morning or when I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita. It is not like that. That is the one that is driving me throughout. I am Atma, not body. And I am doing all the things that I'm doing to clean the karmic bondage, to basically do my duties. The purpose of doing a duty is to clean my karmic bondage. That's all. Okay. So if, you know, typically what we think is if I'm doing good, I'm a Sthita Prajnana. That is not the thing. If you may, like if somebody doesn't have Atma Jnanam, okay, maybe doing good. Okay, that person is not called as Sthita Prajna because that person is doing good from the perspective of like materialistic benefits only, right? You know, I'm a doctor, let us say. I don't know anything about Atma, Paramatma or anything. I'm not religious, let us say. I'm just helping other people, okay? But what happens is, then you say, oh, is it not good? It is good. However, even the doctor, when they are faced with a problem, what is their state of mind is going to be? Is it going to be sadness based on what they see? Like, let us say they treat a patient, and then the patient, is not getting cured or dies. What happens? If they don't have the Atma Jnanam, they're more likely to be affected by outside world. Okay. Yes, their sense of duty, they want to do good for the society is there, but they're not shielded from permanent they're not shielded from sadness. Okay, they're not shielded from depressions and other things. They're also not shielded from envy, hatred, anger, and all those things which are going to get them more karmic bondage. If they don't, let us say, okay, I don't even recognize, that something like karmic bondage exists, right? Because I don't see. That's fine. If the person doesn't believe it, but the scriptures say that the one who is acting in that way is going to get more karmic bondage, right? So others who have the Atma Jnana will know that, right? So it is for us to learn, like if I'm doing something and if I'm not able to see, right? And I don't believe anything that I don't see, that is a kind of a closed mind of thinking, right? There are things that are beyond our, that we know of. When we do certain things, whatever we see is whatever I am going to accept it, is a kind of a closed thinking. Because a lot of things that as we get more knowledge, then our our perspective changes.
So just to
Yeah,
answer, sorry,
yeah,
I want to make two things, right? Ushagar, to the first question, right? I think with experience, with practice, you'll come out of that, right? I mean, I can tell you that this is my experience actually, right? The second point, right? Okay, and second thing, and because it happened in my this year, right? I nominated a couple of people for promotion, they didn't get promotion, right? Director promotion. So someone else nominated, they got promotion, right? But I called someone else and I asked, actually, and not that person, but his manager, right? And I asked him, that guy got promotion, right? I don't think I did anything wrong in asking that, right? Because I'm looking at the benefit of my employee, kind of a thing, right? He's equally capable. And I thought that, okay, I mean, I did the right thing, actually, right? I don't think I did anything wrong asking, right? How did that other person got promotion, right? And in a nicer way, not that, I mean, I'm questioning, right? I think but nothing wrong in asking that question, right? I mean,
yeah, definitely, absolutely agree.
So in that, what is your state of mind is where you need to see. If you're doing it as a duty, right, out of your duty you're asking, is Sthita Prajna. But if you're doing it out of there's some kind of anger, some kind of envy or hatred, because I did the right thing, my candidate deserves it, but that person, how did that person get it? That is that competition kind of a thing.
To know what I could do different next year, right? So to put it,
right? Yeah. So duty, definitely yes.
The manager,
it is our duty to learn, duty to improve ourselves. Then no problem, we can do the same thing. But if it is out of the drive to ask is envy, hatred, anger, then it is going to be a problem. The one who is the Sthita Prajna, they're pleased with themselves, right? That result of whether this employee got the promotion or not is not going to give us happiness or sadness, right? That is not going to disturb us. The mental balance will not change, right? Irrespective of that result, then we are Sthita Prajna. It is very difficult to be in that state. I mean, next three stages also, if you see, then we can see that where are we? I mean, are we even in first stage? If we just look at the fourth stage, we think, oh, it looks easy, right? But if we look the 3 steps below, then we'll see what where we are. I mean, typically where everyone is. So Lord Krishna
definitely this knowledge will definitely change the person, and that much is like, even personal also.
yes.
Earlier, million things used to bother me. Now it's not. I mean, there is a lot of change. So yeah, Badriga,
That's good.
definitely it is like course of time, it takes. Thank you, sir. Maybe too many questions.
Sir, if,
No problem.
sir,
Thank
if
you.
I have Sthita Pragya, right? So, and a lot of times we do things thinking that I need to do this for somebody else. So it's not just me, I need Sthita Pragya. I also need to have the family around me, right? The kids to have that, because our desire to get them something is because we are saying, oh, they have to survive in this world. They have to, perform in this world. They have to compete in this world, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, I might have it, but until unless they understand, this whole knowledge, all of the knowledge we are getting, right? So without that, is it fair that we are leaving them to, I don't know, I don't know how to ask
So
the question, but
in that example, so you want your kids to achieve great success, right? That is our duty. Definitely we have to do everything what we can as part of our duty to give them education, whatever resources that they need to succeed in their life. Now, if let us say they get whatever you think, like let's say they have to become a doctor, and they become a doctor. Okay, is that event that they became a doctor is the one that is giving you happiness? Okay, if you wanted them to become a doctor and they don't become a doctor, they become something else, that event is giving you sadness. Then we are not sthita prajna. So if we are doing duty and then provide whatever we need to do for them to achieve something, to that extent, no problem, right? But we should not be doing that duty with the expectation that out of a desire. This is where the desires come into picture, right? So out of a desire for a particular result.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's not exactly that. It's not that
Mhm.
I want them to become A or B thing,
Mhm.
but it's like, if you don't tell, I think my point was that it has to be balanced education of those kids about this knowledge also at some point. And because I might think it's okay for them to choose something that they want, and hopefully they're happy with whatever they choose. But later on, they're going to end up comparing, right? Or being unhappy. This is again my fear, right? They might be unhappy because X, Y, and Z became A and B, and they did not choose it at this time. And then they'll say, oh, you didn't tell me, right? I should have gotten that.
I think let's do this actually, let's wait until we study more chapters, because to some degree
Okay.
it's very difficult to conceptualize this right away. Yeah, I think we had a good discussion. This is exactly the purpose of our satsang, right? So ask practical questions and not
Right.
and it's very fantastic, but at the same time we have to balance, we have to kind of make progress.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, good question. I mean, there's, as Balaji Garu said, a lot of knowledge is there, which will, once we complete it, we get the knowledge on how to address practical situations.
Yeah.
And
And we will get there.
to,
Absolutely. That's
Thank you for pulling us out, Balaji, from this hole. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to Sloka 56.
Balaji Garu might ban with you and me, Vikasji.
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Well, they're good questions, right? I'm sure all of us are in the same.
Oh
similar-
yeah, I mean we should
Yeah,
get
all of us.
clear. See, actually, and I'm sorry.
We actually, I mean, there is more discussion going to happen after these.
After
slokas,
these
you know,
other qualities, right? Yeah, yeah.
because we still just only touch the surface.
Yeah.
Now we have so many questions with the surface. Lord Krishna answered lot of questions for us. So we'll complete those slokas and probably that will give that will
This
answer.
is the other thing, right? So we have to learn from proper source. As Vikasji said, there is a danger that people can go crazy if they don't learn in a systematic, proper way and from authentic source. You know, so to that extent, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sloka 56. Dukkeshvanudvigna manaha
Manaha
Dukkeshu vigata spruhaha
Dukkeshu vigata spruhaha
Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha
Vitaraga
Titadhir muniruchyate.
Munirudhyate
And together.
Dukkeshu
Manaha
Sukheshu
Dukkeshu vigata spruhaha
Vitaraga
Vitaraga krodhaha
Hitadir
Munirudhyate.
Lord Krishna is continuing to explain who is called Sthita Prajna, explaining more characteristics and of the Sthita Prajna. What does he do? What do they do? And how do they behave? Right. So, Dukkeshu Anudvigna Manaha. Okay. Manaha, mana is mind, right? So dukkeshu in sorrow, in distress, in disturbed state. So dukkeshu anadvigna manaha. He whose mind is not disturbed, agitated, or distressed during painful, sorrowful experiences. This is one of the key characteristics. So when there is a painful or sorrowful experience, their mind is not disturbed. Their body may be disturbed. Okay, so physically, some things, we cannot avoid certain things. Like if there is a lot of cold weather outside and we are not protected properly, then our body feels the pain. So that is a painful experience. In that state also, the mind is not disturbed. Okay. Typically, it is more than the body, the mind gets disturbed. So for a Sthita Prajna, the mind is not disturbed or agitated when they experience painful, sorrowful experiences. Sukheshu vigata spruhaha. One who is free from overexcitement. They're free of overexcitement during joyous occasions. Vigata spruhaha. In joyous occasions, Sukheshu vigata spruhaha. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha is one who is free from attachment, fear, and anger. Raga is attachment, bhaya is fear, and krodhaha is anger. One Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha, one who is devoid of these three: raga, attachment, fear, and anger. Munihi, one who is meditating on Atma always. Sthita dehi uchate. So that person is called Sthita Prajna. Okay. So again, these are the this is how they behave, right? This is how we can describe a Sthita Prajna. So this probably again explains some of the questions that we have. How do we, how do we identify a Sthita Prajna? Do we, if let us say someone who is doesn't seem to be affected at all by what is happening around, can we call that person as Sthita Prajna? You put that person in a very painful situation, you'll understand whether that person is Sthita Prajna or not. Or you give somebody wins $2 billion lottery. Recently happened. So what happens to that person? Do they get overexcited? Or even $1 million lottery, do they get overexcited? So if they get overexcited in happy occasions, joyful occasions, then they're not Sthita Prajna. If their mind is disturbed when they go through some pains, sorrowful experiences, then again they're not Sthita Prajna. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, when one is attached to the work they are doing, to the positions that they have, to the results, this attachment, attachment to the materialistic objects, possessions, everything. So then that person is not Sthita Prajna. One who is having fear or anger, then they are not Sthita Prajna. Right? So again, this anger, you should not take that as anybody who is angry, is not Sthita Prajna. There is an out of duty. One has to express anger. Okay, but their mind is not the one that is disturbed, and then that anger is coming up. There's a difference. We need to show anger in order to prevent a bad situation from happening, or to improve some things. Okay, so we do it out of our duty. But if we are doing it out of reaction to what we are experiencing it, then it is wrong. Right? So, and then one who is meditating on Atma always. So they're focused on Atma. Meditate, it's not just that they're sitting, 24 hours in one place and meditating on Atma. Then only they're Sthita Prajna. No, they're always focused on Atma in whatever they are doing. They're, for example, if let us say someone says you have to do something, right? Immediately, what do we think, right? Is it useful for me? Right? What's in it for me? Do we think of me as an Atma, or do we think of me as a body or materialistic things?
Body, right?
Body. What's in it for me? How much money I'm going to get? How happy I will be from a materialistic perspective. We don't think how much karmic bondage I'm going to get. How many of us think that? If we do or don't do any activity.
We started thinking now, and but
very good. Yeah, it's all of you are at a very mature state. Yeah, it's very difficult to even imagine these things for a lot of people, right? So what's in it for me? Immediately the thing that comes up is, is it going to make me happy from a body perspective? Is it going to give me an excitement, enjoyment? Like For example, if somebody says, "Oh, you have to spend 2 hours, learning about Bhagavad Gita, chanting Bhagavad Gita, or doing some, satsang," that doesn't excite them. Because it's not giving anything to the body. The typical happiness, pleasures that we can think of is not happening, right? So then say, okay, no, I don't. It's not for me. They did not focus on Atma. Okay, so they may be. So again, if we are not focused on Atma, first of all, if we don't have the Atma Jnana, we won't even come to the stage 3. In stage 3, they're always focused on Atma. They're always meditating on Atma. Okay. So stage 3 also very high, very matured state. This is called Ekendriya Avastha. The previous one was Vasikara Avastha. This is called Ekendriya Avastha. So they are always focused on the self. Eka Indriya, right? So that's the manas, the Atma that they are focused on. So that from that point of view, they do everything. Okay. So they are not again. So these are the characteristics that they will show, and in this state, they're clearing the karmic bondage, right? Is this clear? This sloka?
Yes.
So this is the second stage, and this is third stage.
Third stage, yeah. So
56 is third
so
stage.
this is slightly lower. See
Yeah.
here, I mean, once they perfect this stage 3, they become stage 4.
And they get eligible
Right.
for success. Okay.
Yeah. So so here still certain desires are still there, right? So I mean, you can think that way, right? So there's still certain desires are there, but they are not. So they do the work and they get the result. They're not overexcited, or they're not disturbed by the result that they're getting. Okay. So right. So in the final stage, their desires are completely gone, totally wiped out.
All desires. Yeah. Four stages. Okay.
I think it's 9:30 now. Before we conclude, any
Next Monday, is everybody okay to have the class?
actually next Monday, right? So next Monday, I'm going to India. We'll conclude this. I will stop recording and then yeah. So is it okay to conclude?
Yeah, sure.
Conclude the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana va prabhute svabhava karomi yajjat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami Srimanarayanayeti samarpayami salam Sri Krishna arpanamastu Om Asmatgurubhyo namaha Jai Srimanarayana. Jai Srimanarayana. Stop recording.